Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Quirky and the Never-Ending Battle with His Own Shadow. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Welcome back to today's little home vlog starring none other than Quirky, my tiny fluff ball with big ambitions and even bigger reactions. If you followed our daily chaos, you already know Quirky has a talent for turning the most ordinary moments into a full-scale drama. But today he outdid himself. It all started when the sun peeked through the curtains in the living room. A gentle, warm beam landed on the floor, stretching into a perfect spotlight. Quirky strutted in like he owned the place, tail high, steps confident. Then suddenly, freeze frame. His pupils expanded. His whiskers trembled. His ears perked forward. He saw it. A dark, suspicious figure followed him, step by step, tail by tail. His own shadow. At first, he lifted one paw very slowly, as if testing the creature's patience. The shadow copied him. He lowered it again. The shadow followed. The betrayal in his eyes was real. You would think someone had stolen his treats. With a sudden puff of his fur and a squeaky, outraged meow, Quirky launched straight into attack mode. He pounced with all the strength and commitment of a warrior who had trained his entire life for this moment. The shadow remained, well, a shadow, and thus began the battle. He rolled. He jumped. He slid across the clean floor like a tiny furry mop. And every time he stopped for breath, the shadow calmly returned, lying underneath him like a silent rival. Quirky couldn't decide if he should feel insulted or terrified. Meanwhile, I stood behind the camera, trying not to laugh too loudly and ruin his dramatic moment. But honestly, who could resist? The tail flicks alone deserved an award. As the sun moved across the room, Quirky's shadow stretched, shrank, twisted, and grew, transforming into new forms that only fueled his determination. At one point, the shadow suddenly got longer, and Quirky gasped in disbelief. He arched his back, puffed his fur, and made the tiniest warning growl that sounded more like a squeaky toy than a threat. Then he sprinted across the room in an Olympic-level dash, skidding into the wall because he forgot to brake. But did he quit? No. Quirky is a professional in dramatic persistence. He tried sneaking up on the shadow, belly low to the ground like a secret agent on a mission. He slowly inched forward, paw by paw, eyes locked on his target. But when he leaped to deliver the final blow, the sun went behind a cloud, and the shadow vanished. Quirky froze mid-pounce, landed awkwardly, and stared at the empty floor with absolute confusion. You could almost hear him thinking, "Where did you go, coward?" And then, the cloud moved again. The shadow reappeared. Quirky gasped louder than before. Round 2 began. He stomped on his shadow with both paws, only to look shocked when it flattened perfectly under him without protest. He spun in circles trying to catch the tail end of it. He even tried jumping on the sofa to get the high ground, only to discover shadows climb too. At one moment, he looked up at me, eyes wide, as if begging, "Human, do you see this? Are you just going to stand there?" And yes, I was, holding the camera, laughing, documenting every second for today's vlog episode. By afternoon, Quirky was exhausted. His tiny body flopped onto the rug like a furry pancake. But even then, he eyed the shadow suspiciously, making sure it wasn't planning a surprise attack. Every time he twitched a paw or flicked his tail, the shadow moved too. And Quirky glared at it like, "Can you not?" Finally, after a long sigh, he placed his chin on the floor and accepted temporary defeat. His breathing softened. His eyes slowly closed. The warrior rested. As I watched him there, fluffy, confused, dramatic, and undeniably adorable, I couldn't help smiling. In his own strange little way, Quirky had just spent the whole day battling something he could never actually catch. Yet he gave it his full heart anyway. Before long, he fell asleep in the sunlight, curled like a warm cinnamon roll. And ironically, the shadow he had fought so bravely now hugged his body gently, following him into his nap like a quiet companion. The battle was over, at least until the next sunny day. Watching Quirky wrestle with his own shadow might seem silly, but honestly, there's something beautifully real and relatable about it. His determination, his confusion, his dramatic reactions. All of it reminds me a lot of how we humans sometimes deal with our own shadows in life. We all have moments where we stress about things that aren't actually as dangerous as we imagine. Sometimes we chase worries that follow us only because we focus too much on them. Other times we fight problems that can't hurt us, or that we can't control, yet we pour so much energy into the battle that we forget to breathe. Quirky teaches us to laugh, to loosen up, and to not take everything so seriously. Not every challenge is an enemy. Not every shadow needs to be fought. Some fears disappear simply by stepping into a different light. And sometimes, what looks like a threat is just a harmless reflection of ourselves. So here's the takeaway for real life. Move gently. Don't panic at every problem. Save your energy for what truly matters, and allow yourself to pause, just like Quirky did when he finally took his nap. Sometimes peace begins when we stop fighting shadows.